Hello, everybody. Welcome back. Tonight's subject is something that over the years, I think, especially during my younger years, something I had to deal with quite a bit, and it was learning how to deal with being alone and solitude and what to do with that so that you don't feel lonely. And the inevitable sometimes depression that comes from that sort of thing, where it makes you feel like you don't know what to do with yourself. Like you feel like you need to have a relationship with somebody to define you. When the reality is, for the only way for you to have a healthy relationship with anybody else, or even starting before that with yourself, is to have some sort of a sense of self where you deal with your own creativity and you deal with the things that you dream of and want to do. And we all have them. Sometimes, not only do we all have them, sometimes it gets so buried under, the 9 to 5, the daily grind of work and everything like that, that you just kind of forget that they're there, and they get so pushed away into the back of your mind, you don't realize, oh, that's right, I did want to learn how to do that. I did want to learn how to play guitar. I did want to learn how to make videos. I wanted to learn how to, oh gosh, any number of different things, different types of paintings that you can do, which I've actually been doing that recently over the last few years. And that's been an incredible experience, just learning how to paint with acrylics. And for myself, independent filmmaking, where we've done all sorts of different genres, everything from fan films. I actually, for another company, and then eventually for the film company I did, got the chance to play Batman, The Dark Knight. I got to play Bruce Wayne and Batman, which was absolutely incredible. Actually, acting in the mask and in the suit and doing the fight choreography. I used to teach self-defense years ago, so it wasn't too much of a departure from that. And I've got a long history and a lot of experience with acting over the years. So it's been, that added to it. But back to my point, when you're alone and you're dealing with solitude and how to cope with it, a lot of it just comes from ingrained thought patterns that you had, usually from when you were younger. For myself, it was losing people that I loved and cared about. My parents are still together, so it wasn't from a sense of divorce, but I do understand that happens with some people. They want to feel like this time when they get married, they're going to make it work like their parents didn't, or they're going to make it work like other people didn't, and not realizing that developing yourself is the main thing that's going to make that relationship work. Because the more you develop yourself, the more you are secure in yourself. The more secure you are in yourself, the more stable and secure that relationship will be, especially when it comes to the dynamic between a man and a woman. Because the woman is going to be looking for a man who works on himself. Not just business-wise, not just professionally, not just, pumping some iron, getting some exercising and getting out there and hiking and doing whatever you have to do to keep yourself physically fit and functioning physically to be able to live a life with her. But they're going to want to see that you are working on and developing yourself, and they may not even completely realize it, and we don't often completely realize it, but that changes the way we are in the eyes of others. Not that it's actually about that, but it is a major component of it. But for us personally, deep down inside, when we work on those things, what it really begins to do is change us from within in ways that just absolutely shape the world around us, especially in our own personal lives. It's such a huge difference when you do that on a regular basis. So I would like to encourage everybody watching this right now, hobbies, goals, dreams that you've had, try to at least pick one and start taking steps in that direction if you can, to develop yourself, if only to see what the type of person it will change you into. I've done other videos where I talk about the simple fact that everything that we do in life is coping, and it's either a positive form of coping or a negative form. The negative forms are the things like drinking, smoking, drugs, gambling, womanizing, things that are going to basically utterly upend and destroy your life, destroy your relationships, and cause massive amounts of damage, versus positive forms of coping that build good relationships with people, that build you up even more importantly, so you learn and grow creatively, you become more physically fit, you're mentally much more sharp, and it challenges you to become a better version of yourself. And that is a form of coping too, but it's a form that is not self-destructive. So when it comes to solitude, a lot of it has to do with shifting your mindset so that you get away from feeling lonely. Feeling lonely is oftentimes something, and I'm not giving a cure-all for anything as if this will absolutely work for everybody. This is a general concept that can help a lot of us. It has helped me and many that I know begin to combat this. You have to form habits of developing yourself on a personal level, of developing creative endeavors in your life. And sometimes those are ones that are business. That might be more your forte. For me, it's kind of a combo of the two. And when you learn to do that and it becomes a habit that you do, it will begin to shift your mindset. It'll just change the way your brain thinks and functions. Almost on a basic chemical level, everything just begins to shift, and you no longer wake up in the morning seeing things the way you used to. And you also get rid of, there's another content creator that I know of. He used to call it one-itis, where you basically would get so fixated on a relationship or a marriage or a woman that you're so determined to make it work that it's absolutely killing and destroying your life. But you're fixated and you can't let go even when the woman wants to walk away and leave, which they often will in those situations because no woman finds that attractive. The scent of desperation is not attractive to any woman that ever lived. And breaking free of that ideology and that thinking, which unfortunately is ingrained in all of us. If you've grown up here in America or in the Western world at all, you probably have been exposed to the whole Disney princess and prince way of thinking where, from a young age, they're programming you to believe in some sort of unreal version of romance where two people aren't building a life together. They're in some sort of bubble where they think everything's going to be great and completely amazing. And this happens a lot to women as well. They end up watching these films and these romance comedies, and they get raised on Disney stuff where they're watching the princesses, and they actually don't realize how much it alters the way you think about relationships to where you begin to jump ship on a relationship that's completely normal and maybe even thriving because you've got some sort of unrealistic view or expectation of it. And for us men, recognizing that tends to make us be simps. It tends to turn us into the weakest, most desperate, most grasping and reaching version of ourselves where we're trying to hang on to somebody that doesn't really belong with us because the dynamic of the relationship is wrong. So when you learn how to deal with yourself in solitude and learn how to pursue that, I can't stress enough how much that's going to just begin to shape who you are and begin to change how you think about things. Now, eventually it gets to a point, this is something I've experienced too, where you get to a point to where you start to crave it. You start to crave a little bit of solitude so you can create, so you can work on stuff. And it isn't because, like, if you're married or you're in a committed relationship, it's not because you don't like that other person or you don't want to spend time with them or something like that. It's because part of what you're doing is building on you in a way that is going to bring everything to that relationship that it needs, but even more so, make you much more solid and stable. Every single person here that's watching this video has a path and a purpose that they need to be following, and you're never really going to find a level of peace in your life or between you and God and you and anybody else that you have a relationship with until you start to pursue that. And it might seem like it's, for some people, they're so removed from that at this point in their life. Like they haven't thought about that. They've been working a 9 to 5, been in a cubicle for years, and their mind's just kind of stuck in that state of thinking that they don't know how to break free of it. So it's going to take some work for many people that are going to try and do this. It's just going to take work to slowly start to shift your mentality and your way of thinking so that you get to a point where you have a path, you have a purpose, you have a calling, you have something that is of a higher meaning and even of a creative meaning that you can use. And I'm thinking at some point maybe doing a video just talking specifically about lots of different paths, lots of different purposes, just to give some ideas out there and put it out there so that people can, that you guys can, we can talk about it and go back and forth on it. Some of you might feel inspired by hearing some ideas. I'm going to throw some things out there that I'm aware of, some of the stuff that I've heard of other people doing. These are things that can, at the very least, give you ideas as to how to begin to change everything. So that's pretty much all my thoughts on that for tonight. And as always, be sure to like and subscribe, hit the notification bell. Make sure that you comment below. I want to hear your thoughts and opinions on this. And everybody make sure you have a great night. I'm going to talk to you all soon, and looking forward to it.